Hey everybody, I talk a lot about the importance of education, and I think that it is especially important to pass that knowledge on to your children. I want to introduce you to a 13-year-old girl who already owns and manages a property that cash flows $322 a month, and she's learning some difficult lessons along the way. Take a look.
Kinsley,
Yes.
This is your rental property,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
Did you have to work really hard and save for that?
I did many things. My dad owns a construction company, so I worked with him, and I remember when I was little, we were spray painting something in our backyard where the rocks are, and we got paint on the rocks. And my dad's like, uh-oh, Kinsley, I want you to pick up all the rocks with paint on them, and I'll pay you a penny a rock. And so I get the rocks, I count them, and I made roughly $1. When I was about a little older, maybe 8, 7, me and my dad has employees. Okay, and we're like, oh, we could sell snacks. And so we got one of these vending machines. We pick it up, we put it in the break room, and we fill it up with snacks every week, and I get a monthly pay. And I made a little off of that. And then I also worked with my dad, and I scanned all the paper, I filed, I mopped, I swept, I threw out trash. I did anything anyone needed me to do.
So you worked really hard for this down payment. Your parents
Yes.
weren't like, here's your house. You
No.
were actually working really hard to get it.
I worked for it. I knew I wanted something not too big because I wanted just a simple, maybe 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. So I was just looking for something worth the money I had. So when we first got it, the backyard was a dumpster. The shed was full of tools. There's a weight set sitting on the porch, like a good weight set, and just cinder blocks, and we had to rake it and all. So my family and some friends helped me, and we made the backyard look nice. But we also, from selling the weight set and the tools and everything else we could, we had enough money to clean the carpets and paint the inside of the house.
You know, how did the conversation even come across with your daughter of taking her allowance and saving for a down payment? Like, there has to be, she didn't just come up with that on her own. So what do you think that you did?
We've owned some rentals, and I wanted that for her. Well, Ken had posted a video on how to buy a rental property. And he kind of went through the process on going on Zillow and looking at the delta between what your payment would be and what the market value of the rent would be. And I was like, Kinsley, why don't you watch this? And she's always been interested in those types of things. I like watching how excited she is. And for her to be able to get that passive income and watch it, you know, make her money without working, that's been really neat to teach her. And she's probably a little young to really see the picture that I see. I've just wanted something long-term for her, that in 10 years from now, she's really in a good position. You know, when you look at it, most people would look at the little bit of money that she makes, man, that's just not worth it. But if you look at what Ken teaches on inflation and percentages that the house will increase over time, and also rents increasing over time,
Right.
and also the debt pay down over time, in 10 years from now, she's going to be sitting in a really good position, and in 20 years, even better.
Yeah. Have you had any interesting tenant issues? Because tenants can be great if they're screened and, you know, you do all of those steps, but sometimes even when doing that, you can run into problems. So why don't you say what problem you ran into?
So about 2 months in for our first tenant, they were about maybe 19, they're going to college, clean record. The police come up to her house and they're like, there's drug dealers in their house, and they're catching them down the street. Like, they see them, they pass something through the garage, and they drive down.
So Kinsley called the property management company, let them know. They then called their parents, which I can't imagine as a parent getting a call like that. I'd be frustrated with my boys, but they got evicted. However, because they were evicted, Kinsley got to keep their security deposit, and it was enough for her to then paint the outside of the house, which it really needed.
Okay.
So we found a little family, I believe, with like 2 or 3 sons and daughters, and we're like, okay, that's good. So they're living in that house right now.
Okay, and it's been a lot better of an experience,
Yes,
right? And
it
they're
has.
kind of paying on time and no problems or anything like that.
There hasn't been a problem.
And you are charging them a little bit more, right?
Just a little.
How much?
Like $45 more.
45 bucks a month. That's
Yeah,
still, I mean,
more.
that's like $500 a year.
Yeah, for 45 bucks, 45.
Yeah.
I think it's something that it's really hard to teach your kids something unless it's something you're doing yourself. And even if it's as little as starting to learn about it, you know, there's so much information on YouTube, particularly with people like Ken McElroy. I watch Ken all the time. Ken McElroy sells his course. Your opportunity to take that course, take it with your kids. I show these videos to my daughters and even some to my little boys, you know, so they can start out early and learn how.
You know, when we were younger, I know my parents were save money.
Yeah.
But, you know, to teach your kids that there's other options and really you should be investing in real estate versus, you know, saving it all in your savings account, making 1% interest, you know?
That's hard. That's really hard because Kinsley had to work really hard to save this chunk of money that she has in her bank account and then have to show her how, look, if you dump it in here, the money's not really going away. It's an opportunity for you to make money on that money.
Exactly. Well, thanks TK for hanging out with us today, and it was awesome. I think you've inspired a lot of parents out there.
Thanks for having us.
All right, nice to see you.